Hello, turning up the heat tubers, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy Renaissance Whoops All Mages. I sure hope I remember to rename this series after that. But yeah, it's the red, blue, black, and the guy with the terrain magic. Or girl, doesn't really matter. We're not gendered here. Last episode we blasted through Ice Cave, Mirage... No, not Mirage. Waterfall, Ordeals, those ones. And we kind of ran out of money. So we don't have all our high-level spells yet, because they're expensive. But today, we're going to just chill. I'm really enjoying this group. I actually don't want to beat it too fast. So we're going to do Volcano. And by doing Volcano, I mean we're going to go to Ice Cave, so we can get Ice Magic. Because, you know, might as well, right? Now, Water Magic might work even better, but, you know, Ice is cool. Plus, we have an airship. It's pretty cool. So we're going to do it like that. So, there, we picked up our ice magic. We're gonna loot this place to the bone. We also don't take fire damage walking on lava tiles, which is pretty cool. Not getting burned is cool. Maybe chill. That's how we're gonna play today. You know, we might fight some random battles, like some fire elementals, just to practice, make sure we know what we're doing with this game. Like, ice baby, swirl them up. We can see our fire spells, you know, single target fire. The burn effect, very rare. I only see a couple ways to get burned. Probably not very good here. Fire resistance might be good, depending on what you're fighting. And enchant fire, also basically garbage. But hey, remember, we have access to the same stuff except ice. So, you know, why not, right? And let's just get going. I think these guys are weak to ice. Oh yeah, definitely. And probably weak to water too, yeah. I mean, if you were a real-life D&D fire elemental, you would actually take tremendous water damage. Water's not an element in D&D, or at least not in 5th edition. Was it an element in earlier editions? I don't think so. Water generally does bludgeoning damage. There's not really, like, resistance to water. But fire elementals in D&D, 5th edition, take just tremendous water. They just take damage. I can't remember if it's a type damage if they're subjected to water based on the amount of water, if I remember correctly. Basically enough to kill them. So they don't do good. They die. But yeah, that's pretty fun, right? So I guess not literally everything in this dungeon is strong to fire. There's a few enemies that you can still burn to death in the volcano. It's kind of funny. Although that was some wacky damage there on the on that bird. There's a lot of geomancy abilities I've never used, and especially if you include the secret ones that I didn't talk to you about. Did I tell you about them? I'm just gonna pick this up to sell it. It's barely worth anything, but did you know? I can't remember if I talked about this. I might not have. Every terrain has more than 4 possible spells. Now, I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of this specific limitation. You see these 4 spells here, right? Single target fire, multi-target fire, fire resistance for allies and heals, and end fire and damage up. Well, there's actually 2 more that you can only get using terrain, not reserves or the selected spell. But, like, you don't get to control it, and you don't know in advance what it does. So what does that mean? Well, you gotta use terrain in every zone to see them all. And I think it's a pretty low % chance. So you kind of need to, like, not kill enemies. Which, you know, everyone loves not killing enemies quickly. It's not my favorite mechanic. It is a traditional Final Fantasy mechanic, though, I will give it. That's something that we've definitely seen in, especially the Super Nintendo era, I think. I was thinking, like, Final Fantasy VI had... Did you know Final Fantasy VI sort of has limits? You might have seen one, but not even noticed what it was. Basically, when your characters are really low, they do... I think they're called technically desperation attacks. But they're really cool. I've only seen a couple, and without really working at it, it's kind of hard to trigger them. They're secrets. So stuff like that is kind of like how the geomancy stuff works, where there are some secret spells and effects that there's a chance we would have just got one right there, but, you know, we didn't. So, too bad, basically. I can't think of any other good examples of stuff like that off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure I've seen that in a few of these old Final Fantasy. Usually, like, Super Nintendo era, I think, is where those sort of like to pop up. But yeah, anyway, these kind of groups are not strong against fire, so you can burn them. I don't think burn is a very good status effect. It's kind of like poison in that it takes a little bit of damage every turn. Maybe more, maybe less. I'm not really sure. It doesn't really matter because you need to kill things, not injure them and hope they burn to death later. That's not a very efficient use of your time. You know, I probably don't have to explain that, right? It's a little bit too slow. But if I keep using the terrain, eventually we might see a good random one. I think that's a new one. Hotspot? No. That's just the standard single target. I feel like they're supposed to be better. Like if you get one of the random terrain effects, it is supposed to be stronger than the default ones. I always forget what these are weak against. Dang it. Maybe ice because we're in here. Oh, I was gonna pick up that Thunder Dragon. I forgot to do that before we started today. We can do that. I got lots of stuff to do. I was gonna pick up the Thunder spell from. So it's definitely not fire. From Gaia. Oh no! It's definitely not ice, so it's probably lightning. And the red mage died before he could do it, of course. Well, I don't want my XP to be even more thrown off. Let's run away. Try to grab... Right, fire elementals. I don't think you can run from these guys, right? Sorrel will definitely win. Yeah. Let's just get these and get out, because we already had a bit of a oopsies. To be fair, this is why I don't normally clear Volcano. There's too many weak treasures, and the enemies, when you do have to fight them all, can definitely smack you around a bit. So we're out of there. I suppose we should sell our garbage armor that we picked up. Very important to pick up a silver helmet. That's fine. I was gonna give the Zeus's glove to somebody else, and then I changed my mind. We have that giant sword. Sell that too. So we got a little bit more money. Let's buy Lightning 3 and Quake, I guess. It's kind of surprising the Red Wizard can't learn Quake, especially with the way this mod is going, or this Renaissance, because they want Red Mages to do status afflictions. Quake is like pretty good like that. Maybe the developers thought it was too good, so can't give us any more. No more freebies. You've had enough. Can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat? So, one of these guys... Somebody in here has one. This is the last set blue magic one. We could go farm some other stuff, but I'm going to try to get the waterfall out of the way first. Is it you? Or is it in Lefane? It's in Lefane! Right? Okay, I'm just gonna look it up. Sorry. I know there is one more blue magic spell we can get. I've definitely played blue magic once or twice. Spells. Blue magic. Thunder. Lefane. Dang it. I don't know. I always mix these two towns up. Something about this. I think I was trying to avoid going here until I had more money. That was the idea. Because I can't afford nuke or anything just yet. But, you know, we can beat up some of these guys. Some wolves. We don't actually have a lot of anti-ice magic just yet. To be fair, like we don't have ribbons and armor that protects us. But we do have Fire 3. Yeah, that's all you need. Sweet. Okay. So, I think last episode I was talking about how I was trying not to over-level too badly. I'm not too worried about that. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't want to make the game too easy. But we could try to get some of those rare terrain skills. I don't know. I feel like it's going to take a long time to see them, but just keep your eyes open. If you see something that looks weird when we use the random terrain, it might be one of the rare ones. Don't think that's one. Not a very good one, anyway. But yeah, the levels come real fast, and especially if I don't want to over-level, you know, a couple extra levels isn't going to kill us right now. Oh, that's the other thing. You need... Oh, this is why well, I forgot. The level 7... yeah, okay, you got me. I'm kind of... Maybe I said this last time, too. I don't know. I don't know why they made it so hard to get Thunder, actually. Because you have to go into water, get the chime... Or not the chime, get the slab, so you can go to the Fane to get the chime. And then you can learn a level 7 spell? You can already get the level 8 Inferno spell at the bottom of water if you're already doing that dungeon anyway, right? So it seems like a little bit too late, you know? Maybe? I think you could move the blue dragon with Thunder a little bit earlier. Like, it is a strong spell. I think it should be in Gaia. Maybe that's why I keep going to Gaia for it. Like, it's good, but it's not like basically final dungeon, or I guess the penultimate dungeon, the Mirage into Sky. Okay, well, whoopsie daisy, blue goofed. Let's try to get Crack while we're here, though. We ran into a couple sandworms here earlier. That's not a sandworm. In fact, you don't have to be in the desert specifically, you just have to be around here. We can probably get this... Probably. Sandworms are, like, not super common. I mean, we did run into 2, I think. It would make sense if they showed up in specifically the desert more often, but I don't think that's true. There we go. So we don't want to have everybody die to them. Actually, I think Fusoya will be okay. I'm going to try to paralyze 1. We're going to use our limit to try to make sure we learn them. We don't want to kill these guys. I don't know, this doesn't really matter. Well, like I said, I can't kill them, so let's take a break. It's basically Quake. Good, we got the top 1 paralyzed. I'm fine with only having 1 alive, basically. And then we leave the bottom 1 alive. Don't mess with it. And we should be okay. We could, like... It doesn't really matter. We could try to get, like, dark or something, but that shouldn't change... Oh, dang it. I didn't mean to cast lightning, too. It's not going to kill anything, but... That was not my objective. Alright, so we just basically wait for a bit until it cracks. I gotta stop doing that, though. There. Of course it kills him, but that's okay. As long as we kill him now. We learned it, so our XP is a little bit worse on, you know, the balance is thrown off, but learning these instant-death spells, I mean, I think it's kind of inevitable, unfortunately. Alright. So that was 1. Messed up on the blue dragon, but at least we got a good one. So that's Crack. Again, I think I wanted Thunder. I want the damage spells on this side just because, you know, I like it like that. But I've already messed it up twice, so that's fine. Other level 7 spells, we could get Trance and then Dazzle. So Trance is a pain. We'll go back to ice in a minute. Let's keep going through Volcano, though. What I will do is restock my Geomancy here. All right. Let's do some more lava. We started in lava. Let's get back to that. I got a little bit sidetracked because we died. You know, well, we didn't all die, but poor old Fusoya. Sure, this is fine. Just a bit of lightning, bit of fire, bit of whatever we get, bit of lightning, doesn't really matter, right? Magma Surge. Yeah, it's not bad. It seems like it's about Fire 2 level. Maybe we really should try to get the Geomancer to like level 50 just to see if his damage ever scales enough to kind of compete with a Black Wizard. I doubt it. But like, we'd get closer at least. I think the idea is like, oh, you can cast them for free with terrain, even though they're randomized. I think this is like, it's not even unique to this Renaissance project. Something about free spells, just, it's like, oh, that's too strong, we gotta nerf it, we gotta keep it weak. So they make it like random, and like that makes it balanced. It really doesn't. Randomly choosing what effect you get makes it like bad really fast. Like, unless all the random options are pretty strong, and like in some areas that's fairly accurate. And it's not, I'm not saying it's worse than like attacking, but if you don't get to control what you do, and this was a common Final Fantasy VI and some jobs in Final Fantasy V problem, where it's like, oh, you know, you get to maybe you can crackle these guys, that'd be kind of funny. You know, you just get this for free, right? So it's got to be strong, so we'll randomize it. That way you can't abuse your free magic-like effects. I don't know. I think the idea was that you weren't like saving your ethers and your that crack spell. It's kind of cracked, huh? No, I think it's like developers are scared that you're gonna get too strong. It's I don't know. Some games. So Dawn of Souls, Final Fantasy 1 and 2, but specifically 1, the remake, specifically the Game Boy Advanced one. It literally gave you a staff that can cast Nuke, or Flare in that edition, I guess. But you didn't get it till like pretty late in a bonus dungeon, so you're already like basically beating the game. But they weren't afraid to give you really powerful, free, infinite use magic spells, basically. And I think they scaled based on your intelligence in that game too. So, you know, like, maybe that was, like, I think that's not very common. I think maybe the popular opinion is don't do that because it's too strong. But man, I love that in the Dawn of Souls. Like, yeah, it took a long time to get that powerful, but like, it's okay. You don't need. It's good to have some challenges in these games. You want to limit it, so just some balancing, of course. That's I understand, but like, something about free spells for some developers is just like, no, that's too much. Can't give it away. And then we end up with, well, Geomancy, where a lot of the times it's free but random, and then some of the random effects are just garbage. Or even if they're good, they're very situational. So you'd only ever want to use them in pretty specific circumstances. And if you randomly roll one that does basically nothing, you're like wasting your time, basically. It's not too bad in Renaissance. The fact that you have access to the specific spell definitely helps. You don't have to use terrain for a random effect. But especially when you're fighting like fire enemies in a fire dungeon, and 3 out of 4 deal fire damage and are basically useless if you random into them, you maybe would be happy to roll the fire resistance if they cast like Argoyles or fire hydras, the ones that have like fire attacks. Like, there's definitely some times where that's what you want. but you don't get to choose it. It's still randomized, and that makes it quite a lot worse. And it's like not just a little bit worse, but like pretty mega nerf in my opinion. So I think like random abilities are like, at least the way I play. Maybe you know, maybe I'm in the minority here. I'm a bit of a control freak. I wanna be able to control what spell I use, and if I don't get the one I want, then I quit and cry like a little baby. But no, jokes aside, maybe some people get more value out of it, but I don't think it's great. I would much rather just have the ability to choose what. That's why I like black mages, right? And just you choose the spell you want. The enemies are weak to it or resistant to it. You basically plan out your turns, trying to take advantage of weaknesses. It's very hard to do that with random effects. So I think, for me at least, the balancing has to be way more in favor of, if an effect is randomized, all the effects have to be useful like 90% of the time. Like, I don't want any of this like super niche, this works, but it's like a 1 in 100 chance or whatever kind of nonsense. Like, I want the action to not be wasted, I guess. That's kind of what I'm thinking. At least not wasted very often. Maybe you don't get the optimal effect. Like, I think that's fine. If the choice is between, like, optimal and okay and good, probably not too bad to go random. But if the 4 choices are awesome, okay, completely useless, and actually detrimental, because sometimes it is like that, you're like reducing your damage or hurting yourself depending on what effect you get. Like, you don't have to do that. There we go. This is a new one. Convection. So I'm going to assume that was a fire damage to all enemies that's a bit stronger than the other one. But it doesn't tell you. So because this is not related to the randomization exactly. But the issue I have with the secret terrain effects is you don't know what they do. I'm pretty sure Convection is just a stronger magma surge that maybe doesn't have the burn effect. But, like, it's still doing fire damage in a fire dungeon, mostly, right? Until you get promoted, which, at that point, you're probably done the fire and ice dungeons, so it doesn't do much. It's much better when you start promoted and we can sample. Obviously, that's pretty cool. We'll bring it back to Ice Cave after this, because I'm trying to show, even though I'm not doing this very often, that the reserve ice pillar should be very effective here. I was just conserving it more than maybe I needed to. Okay, well, apparently my mages are now swinging hard enough to just kill everything. Well, we can kill a couple Agamas. Oops. I want to show off Ice Pillar here. At least once. How good is it? 700 damage. So that is with the Ice Bell boosting us. I have to find the Fire Bell. I think it's on the bottom floor. That's an Ice Bell boosted ice spell that was brought over via sample into the volcano. Very, very cool. I really like that. I don't know why that's limited to after promotion. Because, like, you can only hold so many. It's very much level gated. If you aren't leveling up like crazy, you're only going to get, like, 1 or maybe 2 casts of this in the early game. Might as well be able to start with that. That's not even... It's already scaled to your level. And this is, like, the optimal scenario where you're using an ice effect in a fire dungeon. It's usually not this clear cut. We can't get to the fire dungeon before Marsh Cave, you know, for all the undead, right? But you could bring in some planes, which has some fire damage, into the Earth Cave Marsh, which is what we did, and it was pretty good. I mean, not that we need stuff like that. We have other... This group is kind of too strong. That frost did not do very much damage for a convergence frost. Are these... They must be weak to ice, right? Yeah. We just rolled bad, I guess. It's fine. Not too worried. Probably should heal up before a New Game Plus Red Dragon, though. There's always a chance he just Infernos us. Well, this is not Inferno, it's the other one. Otherwise, we could learn Inferno. let's go try to hold. We'll take this super serious. Super serious. Blizzard. You know what? We can go Firewall. We can go Bluff. He'll never kill us now. Honestly, we should have just gone for the kill rather than the Firewall, but whatever. There's the kill. We did it all. All that for some armor we were selling. So yeah, I think, like, in Blizzard actually would work quite well here. So, like, but this is the only scenario where in Blizzard or in Fire on the Geomancer really matter, is when you can bring it into the other dungeon, and you have people who want to swing a sword, which, I mean, we are a mage party, but still, it's kind of funny. I don't know, it's not a huge issue, but... Wonder what the other one... We saw one of the special fire spells. This is the fire... This literally makes you weaker most of the time. I don't think it actually reduces your damage, but, like, most things in here resist fire, so it's not helping. Maybe if you had an ice sword that would strip the ice effect and downgrade it to fire? I hope not. There's the fire bell. So we'll use that to switch ice to fire later. There's something at the top and something at the bottom. We'll pick those up. Why am I swinging? We got ice 2. We got blizzard. We got whiteout. We got ice 2. Get out of here, our giants. I mean, that's 3 casters all doing nuke level damage of ice, or ice 3 level damage, basically. Pretty sweet. Oops. It also might be nice if some of the new weapons had use effects for magic. Like, the lava axe, or something like it, could cast fire too, or, maybe even cooler, one of the Geomancer fire spells that's new. Like, if you use it, you get Hotspot, or Forged in Fire. That'd be really cool. Some of the new custom weapons that are oftentimes not worth picking up because only one specific class can use them. But it has a use effect, which I don't. Again, you have to get over the infinity uses. Like, it's not that crazy good. It's just it's cool, right? It's bonus for exploring these dungeons. A lot of rooms you never go to. I don't know. Maybe I'm over. Maybe I don't know how to balance things. You know. I just want to make the game too easy. Now, by the time you're doing Volcano, you're kind of past most of the hard stuff, right? This isn't the... Like, honestly, if you get something in here that makes Ice Cave easier, that should be the goal. Incentivize people to do Volcano before Ice, so they get something in here that's fire-based that helps in Ice, because Ice is basically the worst dungeon in the game, right? Like, nobody likes doing the Ice Cave. Sure, in a 4-man super wizard party, we're doing pretty well, plus we have access to warp and exit and stuff because we're pre-promoted, but normally Ice is just no fun, man. So anyway, that was kind of my thinking, is if I was rebalancing the entire game, and I kind of am for my solo, well, not my solo, my D&D campaign I'm working on. Not that the D&D is different than a video game, but if I was balancing the video game, I would definitely want, like, you don't have to go Volcano first, but it'd be nice if there was fire stuff in the Volcano that helped make the unarguably worst dungeon, the Ice Cave, less of a pain, because it is too much of a pain. Obviously, the level ups are good, but there's not much in this dungeon that makes the Ice Cave easier. In fact, maybe literally nothing. You get an ice sword in the Volcano. It doesn't really help in the Ice Cave that much. You get fire armor that protects against ice, but nothing except the frost dragons that you probably don't even need to fight. Not much does ice damage, oddly enough, in the Ice Cave. Anyway, we're fighting Carrie. She is dangerously weak to status. So I think whenever you have a red mage, the obvious answer is to just hold the phone. But we have other things like, we could go for something cool. maybe we go mute here and gaze, because this is also kind of like hold. I'm not sure which one's stronger. And we can throw up firewall in case. Honestly, the worst is her physical attack. She's gonna crush us if she attacks anybody. But we could put fire protection on. This will be a good point if we want to do in Blizzard that for melee. That'd be cool. Silence. We got another way to get silence too. That's funny. Ice before fire, after all. But she's actually not weak to ice. That's the whole thing. So we will put firewall on. Maybe we go first. And because we're going for 2 statuses, I think I'll go for the bluff. Mute is good. Paralyze is good. I mean, those were very likely to hit. She's weak to status. They're both status elemental, and we bluffed it up. So yeah, the chance of those missing, I think, was pretty small. We could have also gone for confuse. She can confuse herself. That's fun. We can do that. Or she can hit herself. Other things that might be fun to try out. She's not really weak to earth specifically. Time is one way to kill any boss. But we actually know she's weak to water. So I want to see... I'm just curious how much damage a swirl does with bluff on. And honestly... she's dead, I think. There's no way she lives this. It'd be funny to burn her, but she resists fire, so she's not going to get burned. Sure, we'll use in Blizzard, might as well. And Geostorm would kill her as well, just fine, I'm sure. Let's bluff up that super water spell. Ice swords. Confused. 840 damage swirly. Not bad. Didn't one-shot her, but she's probably very nearly dead. We've got ice swords on, which doesn't actually do that much extra damage. I guess maybe we do Geostorm if we get a turn. Could also go for, like, boosted up, like, physical attacks. But we're supposed to be a mage group, so maybe I don't want to do that. I'm just playing around. We could put her to sleep. We could dark her. Geostorm. Is there any other statuses she doesn't have? Slow. There, she's asleep. She's dark. Almost every... yeah, literally... I guess we haven't poisoned her. I didn't see how much damage Geostorm did. It doesn't matter. She's dead. Okay. Good times. I'm going to pick up the fire because we're going to go back to ice to get a little bit of treasure out of ice. I mean, I'm just having a good time. I mean, these mages are so much fun. I think this might be... it's hard to grade for funness, but I think this makes a very fun run. Maybe one of the best just having a good time for me kind of runs. We definitely made some good bucks fighting in that last dungeon. Sell the flame shield, sell the flame armor, sell the scale armor. It's not worth as much. Sell an axe, sell an ice sword, sell the lava axe, and a wooden stick. We'll hold on to our bells, and we will switch from fire or ice bell to fire bell. Alright. Now, we've already done most of what we want to do in ice, but there's one last room of treasure. Kind of want to show off. I'll buy a bunch of magic when we're done this one, too. We should be able to buy all the level 6 stuff after this. Well, here we go. Yeah, still don't like these groups. So, hey, look, we brought Magma Surge. Should work pretty good on these. Now, how powerful is it to sample over? We already have Black Wizards with, like, 4 castings of Fire 3, and... did I forget to go to an inn? I think I forgot. Oops. We'll go reset after this. But, you know, being able to sample and bring 3 extra spells of each of the different types of spells, that's not even that much, you know? I don't know how to explain that. I was talking about, like, Geomancer balancing and the random effects and stuff. Like, I really think the argument I think I have is that samples shouldn't be promotion locked, and it's already limited enough that it doesn't need, like, you can buff the spells a bit as well, I think. Some of them. Some of the random ones need to be a bit stronger, I think. But, like, going into this dungeon, effectively, you can't reset them in the dungeon other than wasting turns doing terrain. But you can't recharge... Like, you can recharge the ice ones that are garbage in an ice dungeon. You cannot recharge what you bring in. So, like, what are you really getting out of that, right? Like, it's good, but it's not, like... I guess I want to save my blazes for emergencies. We can try to crack these. But yeah, like... These are strong, but they're not, like... I don't think they're busted or anything. Oof. We got random ice effect. That will do basically nothing. Crack works, though. That's good. Can't believe I came back to ice just to get money. Oof. Ew! Another one! I mean... Maybe... I don't know. No, they do resist status, right? They resist too much. For an early game boss, they resist too many things. It's really annoying. No, they resist status. Oh, I'll just use one of the big ones, I guess. Whatever. I did buy Lightning 3, so if I run out of, like, Blue Mage spells, I can use the Black Mage spells to wipe these guys reliably. I think we got lucky not fighting too many wizards on our first run. They're not my best matchup right now, let's just say. Like, we're fine, but they churn through the heal potions, and they can definitely get a kill if they focus fire on someone. Alright, this is fine. We can technically anti-ice. We're not going to use a lot of ice magic in here. And then cremate. We can use one of our... I guess we do have our own anti-ice like this if we need some healing. Is pretty good. Let me use hotspot and fire tube. See how that goes. Okay, we got good turn order. We got punched. 782 damage hotspot. That's cool. So this is what I wanted to see. Like, I think it's still fairly niche. It's not going to happen very often in a playthrough. Because normally, maybe what's happening here is the basic abilities are balanced to be fairly weak, with the expectation that you're using these boosts from the bells to really make them, like, much more effective. I think maybe the boost from the bells are too strong, and the base damage of the ability should go up a little bit, and then the boost from the bells goes down a little bit. That way you're getting better average value, but it's still useful to use the bells, but it's so hard. Like, how many times have you seen me actually get a bell-boosted geomancy thing that works like this? Like, that's still basically only as good as Fire 3 on the Black Mage. And we needed to sample, bring it in, only have a few spell slots, and equip a specific weapon. The Black Mage just has Fire 3 and can do it 5 times already. You know, you can't recharge that spell, the Geomancer spell, mid-dungeon. You have to go back to the volcano. It's basically the same as going to an inn. So in my view, it's good, but it's not... It doesn't need to be so limited, I guess. Because that's basically just Fire 3 damage, right? That's nothing too crazy. Like, it's nice. It's good damage. But if you didn't have a Black Wizard, you wouldn't necessarily be able to compare them. It's just... Yeah, I know that's not enough compared to what everybody else can do. That's kind of why I wanted 4 offensive casters, just so I could see the difference between their similar tier spells, basically. I mean, Magma Surge is certainly doing a good job, but definitely takes some setup. We can do this again with Hotspot, probably. It'll feel real good here, like... That's like 4 fights in a row where the Geomancers just basically one-shot the entire group. But now we're kind of running out of spots for them. Can't keep doing that too much longer. Yeah, basically the same damage as Fire 3, I think. I could have been bluffing him. Black Mage could have been boosting it even higher. So this is the extra stuff I wanted to pick up. Frozen Axe to go with the Lava Axe should definitely have a minor... Oh, no, let's go all out on this fight. Let's not give anything in this group a chance to hit me. I already used my fire spell. We can use Whiteout. Okay, good turn order. The birds can still stone almost everybody, so I don't like those cockatrices. Now, I'm not using my ice geomancy to see what the rare... I don't really know what the ice random ones would ever be, because this place is too dangerous to just sit around spamming terrain hoping to get a cool new one. I'm assuming there's some cool stuff. I can technically look them up. I guess if you're curious... Hold on, I've actually got the tab open right now. It's my Sir... what's his name? Sir... somebody... System error? He's got all the new spells. So... Find... Do we have it? The Geomancy stuff? Is it in here? Yeah, Geomancy stuff. Okay, so we're in the Ice Cave. I'm just... So, okay. In Volcano, the two secret ones, Lava Burst. Doesn't say how strong it is. Status Fire, I guess it's like single target damage. And Convection's the one we did see, which is AoE Fire. But it doesn't say how much stronger they are or if they're very good. So, you know. Also, it looks like the burn status deals like 1 damage per turn. So, not very good. In the Ice Cave, I'm just looking it up while trying to read and play at the same time. My specialty. We'll just use a train. Maybe we'll get one. Ice. We have a Freeze, which is a single target ice and petrify chance. That's cool. And Ice Storm, which is AoE ice plus the dark stats effect. So like those are cool, but basically nothing in the Ice Cave is susceptible to ice damage. All the undead resist ice. The Ice Wolves, the Ice Dragon, the Ice Giant, the Remoras. The only thing that probably doesn't resist ice is the mages and the sorcerers. And fight those. Yes, fight those. That sounds like fun. Being a little bit facetious maybe, but yeah, it's really hard to ever see those. I think it's you got to stick around in a very dangerous area. I kind of wish they were just, if you want to have 6 spells in each area, make them less spell charges. Like, give me level 5 and 6 slots, give them -2 or something, so that you don't get to, you can only use 1, or maybe give them a maximum of 1 or 2, so you can only use them once per run or something, right? Like, that's probably all it needs to balance, and I'd be happy. Okay, we got a little bit of money, but nothing too much for that. So, Lightning 3, Quake, and... I mean, Power Word Stun's not very good. Rub is slightly better. We already have Exit. Invis 2 we can get from the white shirt if we want. We can't learn... Oh, that's right. We can't learn any of the status spells. So I guess we give the Red Mage Lightning 3, because at least damage is nice. And then Invis 2. So we can have double cast. Basically, someone else can hold the white shirt, and then we get double stacks if we ever need it. It's probably not very likely. I still haven't got the trance spell yet. It's on my to-do list. See how my money's looking here. How's our... Are we level 25 yet? Not quite. We are getting level 8 slots at this point, but slowly. Ice 3 is obviously the best Black Wizard default spell at level 7. There's usually not a lot that the Red Wiz can learn at level 7. So we'll give him Ice 3 as well. We got one more available. Or we got the money for one more. I could technically go pick up Nuke. We still have someone wearing silver armor. We want to upgrade that. How's my potions are pretty good. I did the bottle. I guess we could either go for the trance spell, or we can go for water. Let's go to water. I might not clear water yet, the water shrine, but we could probably go to the mermaid floor, get some more stuff to sell, and then maybe do a little bit more spell purchasing. Oh, I didn't pick up a new utility. I guess going into water shrine, you might want something with lightning. Is there anywhere that gives you an AoE lightning? For geomancy? If anything, it's probably going to be in Sky, which we can't really get to. See, that's part of it too. Like, if you want the air, the lightning bell, the stuff that would work in the water dungeon, you can't really get on a geomancer until you're done the water dungeon. Or at least sort of done the water dungeon, right? Yeah, anti-rub, not a great spell. It is buffed. I think originally it was just anti-death, death element. So this does give us protection from status, which is honestly not bad. And earth for crack, which we only get 3 ribbons. So this gives the fourth party member status and earth resistance, which they're not going to get normally. Even a knight with the Aegis shield, which is poison stone, and the dragon armor, which is fire, ice, lightning. This would give them, if you cast the spell at least, it would give them status and earth protection. Plus the pro ring is already death. So yeah, that's a way to do that. Looks like we don't have access to any other level 7 red wizard spells. So kind of as usual, level 7 spells kind of stink. I guess Brack would have been the other good one at the other town. I just didn't buy it. I forgot. And Anti-Rub is really the only other spell the Red Wizard can learn anyway, so we might as well. That's all they get for level 7. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I can look at this list right here. Hold on. Grass. Wind, fire, paralyzed, non-elemental. There is lightning, but only rarely, so you're not going to get it on the sample. The forest is non-elemental, but very weak damage, if I remember correctly. Marsh, single target fire, AoE poison, that's not going to work much. Desert, AoE earth, earth water, those aren't going to work in water very well. River is all water, of course. Ocean is a single target thunderbolt, but AoE water, which generally is not going to help in the water shrine. Although there is a rare thunderstorm at the ocean that's AoE lightning. That'd be great, but unfortunately not an option for me to just sample. I can technically go to Temple of Fiends or any castle to pick up this artificial set, which has AoE non-elemental dark, absorb, and crit. Nope. The Earth Cave is just earth, obviously. Volcano is fire. Ice Cave is ice. Underwater is where we're going, and we're just going to get a bunch of water stuff, which doesn't work very well in water. If we go all the way to the floating castle, actually no AoE lightning available. Single target lightning, AoE non-elemental, but that's it. If you have access to the astral plane, which I think you can only get if you have a summoner, AoE time magic is cool, but so that's actually kind of weird. There's literally no lightning 2 or 3 variant available for terrain magic. I mean, there's a spell like that, but it's a rare one that you can't control. I don't like that, because there's a whole water dungeon that is built around lightning, and the blue mage can only get lightning after starting the water dungeon. So you're already like in here, you can't really take advantage of lightning weaknesses much. And then there's also no way for a geomancer to take advantage of it. Yeah, I think that's too limited. I don't know why. Bubble Curtain is really good. We know that, but I don't know why it's so hard to get lightning for anyone besides a black mage or a red mage. I mean, poison works just fine. Like, the blue mage has lots of damage. It's not a big deal. And I guess we've got a Zeus's glove, so like, there's nothing stopping me from just moving this over and being like, there, you've got lightning too. But it's the unboosted. Oh man, this fight again. The unboosted version is not super strong. Ice does work. I guess, you know, it's mostly just fire that sucks here. Even if you can't take advantage of elemental weaknesses, you could bring ice from the ice cave and it'll work just fine. And of course the Zeus's glove. But yeah, that's kind of a odd shortcoming, I think. The fact that you can get the elemental fire and ice covered via those dungeons. And there's so many like weird earth, water, dark, poison stuff you can get from those dungeons. But lightning, which is one of the more common statuses, or more common elements, it's very rare. Okay, this fight, as always, is terrible. We should take it seriously. Probably just gonna go big fire damage, right? Could drop their physical damage a bit. It's not gonna be enough, probably. This is where bringing in... I forgot to recharge it, but this is Magma Surge would be good here for sure. Maybe this is the only fight you're worried about. So sure, Fire Bell and Volcano is all you really are worried about. I could see that. I could see that. And Forged in Fire, if you had a melee party, this would also work pretty well on this fight. I think the Fire 3 will 2-cast they'll kill him, maybe? I don't know. Yeah. A little bit lucky there, maybe. Those ghost fights just... oh, they spook me. Our blue mage is starting to take away they're getting ahead of things with the what am I trying to say? Their HP is getting crazy. Let's give this guy a hug. And this guy's got a lot of hit points. Let's just blast him with poison. And just a random train, I guess. We do have Lightning 3 now. This is where maybe you roll for a rub. Although I just did 500 damage, so it's kind of a waste. Yeah, of course, we get him after we nearly kill him. That might be one way to make insta-death spells better, too. If they, maybe the chance of them working is increased as the enemy is closer to dying. Because having them miss when an enemy has, like, 1 hit point, it's even worse. Like, those spells are already hard enough to get a lot of value out of. You add in the ability to just fail when obviously just casting a spell would have won. It just makes it even worse to use those instant death spells. There's a lot of reasons why I don't like instant death spells. That's one of the calculations, right? It works best when they're at full HP and you get the kill instantly. But, you know. That's one of the things where I would expect our blue mage can do quite well. See, I haven't been doing this a lot, but in New Game Plus, enemies have a lot of HP in theory. So being able to one-shot them, especially when we're fighting the tankier guys like this, bluffing and then using these relatively accurate insta-kills, is something I wanted to test out a little bit more. So we're getting to that point now where maybe we should try this a little bit. If it's reliable. And there probably are some instant death... I'm pretty sure there's some instant death. Well, there's the under 300 HP kind of thing for Geomancy, but I can't think of very many like Bane style effects or Rub style effects. Maybe there are some? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not trying to complain about Geomancy too much. I just think they need a little bit of something extra. Because realistic, you probably would mostly just use... If you're in a dungeon where they don't have the right element, if you weren't promoted especially, what would you do with a Geomancer in this dungeon? You'd probably just use the Zeus's Glove every turn, right? maybe the train effect would be okay, but a lot of the times it's not going to do anything for you. Minimal damage, right? Like, we need to make some space. Let's... The bucklers aren't very important. We can get more of those if we want. Technically, casting items might beat out on 2 absorb anyway, if you want them. And unless magic gets cheap, we're gonna need some coin. Can't get rid of protect rings, though. Alright. Okay, we're all stacked up. I picked up my slab. Thanks for the fish, but we are out. Save. Oh, almost out of time for the episode. Dang. Well, that's okay. We'll just show some stuff off. Try to have a good time. Whatever bind we did, that was 200 damage. Not bad. I mean, that is, I think, a lot of the effect. Is as your level keeps going up, Geomancy does improve over time. Like, it maybe scales better than the others. Maybe the spellcasters, like Black Wizard and stuff, are feeling good because I'm generally at a fairly low level. Maybe. I think water enemies in general resist earth, even if it's not guaranteed, but not stone. I do remember thinking that, generally speaking, the river spells are terrible, but I didn't look at, like, the secret ones. Let me see if the river secret ones are actually good. Stone poison working well. If you're curious, river secrets are Torrent, which is AoE water, and Deluge, which is AoE water and a chance to insta-kill. So that's kind of like Bane, except maybe damage as well. Sounds good, but in the water, in the river, the enemies resist water, so the insta-death effect is resisted and very unlikely to work. Very little is weak to water, so it's a pretty poor sample. So it's interesting. I guess mud golems, a couple of the golems are weak to water, so you might want to bring that into Waterfall or Mirage, maybe. But there's other elements that are probably more effective and more of the time. I think that's the real caveat with Geomancy, because you can only sample one area. You want to pick the thing that's going to be the most useful, or the most chance of being useful in the next dungeon. And that kind of limits some of them a bit. Well, we're pretty rich. Oh, don't sell that. Right, I forgot. We can sell the silver one. Okay, so we're going to give this to the guy up top. Whoever's in the top slot gets the opal bracelet. Everyone else gets gold. That'll just have to do. I could buy more caps, but it's just 1 armor, whatever. I could buy more bucklers, but they're 2 armor. It barely matters. And that gives us a little bit more space for selling armor. We are at about an hour. I think I've got enough time to go to Lefane, though. Yeah, Geomancy is, like, right on the edge of being awesome. I feel it's, like... You kind of see it in this group where every now and then it's like, oh yeah, that's the stuff. But it's definitely not as reliable as the other 3 casters in this group. Being able to select any spell you want, having a large spell selection and spell slot pool. And I keep forgetting to go back to the... Like, why can't your reserves recharge at an inn, right? Like, is it really that overpowered? Just something I don't have to remember. Didn't even get to see it. Yeah, swamp, not my favorite zone. Oh, I swung. Why was I autopiloting the swings? Oh, good. Morale down, so they definitely run away. See, that's randomness, right? That's definitely what you wanted. Now, that Will-O-Wisp did hit pretty hard. I think it's fire damage, right? We have the fire bell. So that's probably why that works a little bit better than normal. Yeah, if you got the fire bell equipped, you should definitely bring the Magnet Surge. No doubt. Yeah, I think that just general utility is not quite as good with the limited spell selection. Only having access to 4 spells at a time, maybe 8, definitely is a lot less than everybody else. I think that's maybe a way to think about it too. The Geomancer might need a little bit of a buff, because 4 possible spells that are nice, but it's very limiting, unless these are individually better than having access to, like, 20 spells. Like, that's a tough one. And I don't think they're generally stronger. I think they're equivalent or sometimes weaker. I think. For now, we will nuke it up, obviously. And, yeah, back here. 1, 2, 3. So I didn't find the reverse spell. Because I only found this one. I didn't realize there was 2. But sure, we'll pick up Curse. I didn't actually think it was very good. Maybe we'll get a little bit of money here before we go home to pick up the other one. We got this last time. I know some people in the comments think it's just the best thing. I did not find it to be so. But random status effects, you know, we've been talking about randomness a lot. It's, it could be good, or it could be useless. Where is this? Is it? He's just off screen. Alright, this shouldn't be too bad. We're high enough level that, I think this is honestly too late. I don't know why you don't get to access this guy till now. He is weak to fire. I always forget what fire is. Hey, fire. We'll just buff it. Why not? 478? Yeah. Certainly some decent damage. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we could have that guy unlocked at a lower level. You don't need to have Lefenese, whatever you call the language, translated to get that, right? That's not that strong of an ability. Let's go with some more silly insta-death, just for fun. If you have access to it. Yeah, this is like insta-death, but not really, you know. Another one where you could random into it, and it could just never work, right? So we need 4,000 gold. That's not going to take very long. One good encounter, we'll get it. Do we have any AoE insta-death? Yeah. It's nice to test these out to see how often they work. And more than I was expecting, to be honest. I think the status accuracy from intelligence plus bluff is really strong, actually. Maybe that's the secret of this run. Is that actually doubling your intelligence, whatever the specific formula is, going from 43 to 86, and then adding that, whatever that percentage is, to your hit rate on KO attacks, is actually a little bit busted. I'm okay with that. That's no, I'm not offended, but it is like maybe a bit strong. So the reverse spell, I actually haven't had a chance to really talk about that. Do I think it's good? It doesn't seem good at first glance. Obviously, we have the nuke now. Already doing more damage than a normal nuke. 400 is usually the max. We failed our conversion. Let's try that again. Need better turn order. Our team is just too cracked. I guess it's hard to compare Geomancy spells against level 8 other caster spells, but he needs to be able to compete with them, right? Like, he's a full caster. He doesn't have any physical attack. He doesn't even have any weapons. Like, he's got less physical weapons and armor than a red mage or blue mage. So you really need something that can compete with the level 5 to 8, you know, black and blue magic, effectively, and white magic, whatever it is he's getting, right? I know Geostorm does, but that's on a limit. It's a little different. You know, that's an attack, 50 to 100 damage, right? Is that good enough at the level we're at? Like, when would you want that? That's a non-elemental, so theoretically nothing resists it, nothing is weak to it. But it only does, like, 100 damage? I mean, maybe it's Fire 2 tier-ish? But we are level 26. We're not, like, a low level. Anyway, Reverse. Reverses the healing and damage dealt to the caster for 2 turns. So, if you heal them, they take damage, which you just have to not do. But if they take damage, they get healed? So it makes them an excellent top row tank. You could even unequip their armor, maybe. Maybe they shouldn't have the ribbon equipped. Maybe they would do better without it. Let's see if I can show this off at least. I don't think this is good, but this is a great time to see if it works. And it's only the caster. You can't use it on someone else. I mean, honestly, it's still not going to be as good as just killing the enemies, right? But maybe we can show this off without instantly dying? I don't know. He's already basically dead. Like, that's the kind of spell that needs priority. You need to do that at the beginning of the round, not at the end of the round. Let's see if we can pull this off once. And he's dead. See, that's... This is why I think this spell is trash. It's a way to get some healing, but you have to be careful, because if you're using your own healing, it's counterproductive. You still can't force yourself to be targeted, generally. Although top slot helps. There's nothing stopping the Tyro from ignoring you while you've got that spell up. It only healed 58? Since when does a Tyro do 58 damage? I guess maybe he low rolls. What's his damage range right now? How is he doing 50? His lowest should be 97. And then you've got your absorb of 40 or so. 34. It should be 63 for anyone that's not wearing the gold bracelet. And like 50 or so for the bracelet. The opal bracelet. Right? I didn't use any other spells. So was that healing him? I think his HP did go up. So it works. I think. Is it working? I can't even barely tell. 223. Okay, he definitely healed that time. Cool. 313. Definitely healed again. Getting really low damage, though. Did he... I couldn't read it. I've got the speed too fast. It feels like the damage is weird. Like, I'm not sure... Yeah, the turn order is a big problem with this spell, too. Yeah, okay, definitely works. Looks like it's 2 turns, not including the turn you cast it. So, well, the turn you cast it, if you cast it early, you might get the effect of it on the turn you cast it. But it's... The countdown is the next 2 turns after you cast it. So theoretically, it could absorb 3 turns of enemy combat if you're lucky. Is that good? Is it better than casting Darkness with a level 8 slot? I mean, it's not always Darkness, but, you know. I don't see it. Maybe someone in the comments can educate me on which of these is supposed to be an amazing level 8 red mage spell. They're both new. I think they're both pretty weak. Like, Curse is all enemies, and a random status effect that ignores elemental resistances. So theoretically, you can silence, or I don't know if you can instant kill someone. It needs some more testing for me to tell you for sure. Like, these guys normally resist status and stuff, and death, right? So if this insta-kills them with death, that's cool. Maybe if I go bluff to boost it a bit? I don't know if that does anything. Paralyzed, Dark, Confuse, Poison. 2 of 4 were kind of good. Paralyzed and Confuse are pretty decent. Well, he's dead. Give it a... I want to use a couple more times before we wrap the episode up. Here we go. Now, it seems to always apply one status, so it might not have... Like, it might be a guaranteed application. You just get a random status. But Poison is worthless. Sleep is okay. It generally just lasts a turn. I would say, for a level 8 spell, putting things to sleep, not really what you want. But I'll say it's at least not... It's kind of action economy neutral. You spend 1 turn and 1 very high level spell slot to end an enemy's turn. Okay. Maybe multiple for AoE. Sleep, Darkness, Paralyzed. I seem to be getting a lot of darknesses and poisons and sleeps that are not... Yeah, like, the spell works on anything, but you generally get garbage. Sleep, Dark, Paralyzed. The same... Like, why am I getting the same ones every time? Is it somehow based on the enemy or something? Or is it my level or intelligence that changes what you get? I don't know. Sleep, Confuse, Darkness. Funny. I mean, I don't actually know. I figured we should do a little bit of testing, basically. If it was, like, intelligence-based, and the higher your intelligence or level, the more often it does, like, insta-kill. But I don't want to see Poison on a level 8 spell. I don't want to see 3 damage a turn, please. That's... I don't know why that exists. That's not doing it. Hey, we got it terminated, so it can instant kill. So that should mean it can instant kill Chaos. I mean, sure. But what are the odds, right? We cast that quite a few times before we got one of those. Silence. Now, I have a feeling the special resistances to silence would probably bypass that. So we cast that 7 times, I think. And hit 3 enemies each time. So 21, let's say, cast, or 20, give or take. 1 of the 20 was instant death. Most of them were sleep, dark, poison. There's a couple paralyzes, 1 silence. It's random, I'm assuming, but maybe there's some scaling. Maybe I hope there's some scaling. It's still... I don't really see it for either of those. Anyway, we are definitely over time for our episode today. I think we got to cut it here. The good news is I have most of the spells I want. I think that's everything for the Red Mage. And I can buy Brack or something. Maybe I'll get a little bit of money so we can buy Brack. It's a good spell. There's also some other level 8 spells. Zap and stop are pretty good. So I want to pick those up, but we can wait until after we're done water for the level 8 spells. And yeah, we'll get on into the next dungeon. Did I miss any bells? There's a bell in the water dungeon and Mirage. I might have missed one, actually. There should be 6 altogether. Maybe there's one in Mirage, one in Sky. They're really, you know, end game loaded. Is that how that works? Yeah. Thunder is in Sky. Wind is in Mirage. Water is in Sea Shrine. Unless you have a Thief, and then you can get them a little bit earlier, but not much. Yeah, Thief, there's a second bell, so if you want a double Geomancer, bring a Thief, I guess. And you can get them. You get a duplicate and a little bit earlier. Not much, just a little bit earlier for some of them. Yeah, like in Gurgu and Ice Cave, they're just a couple floors earlier. You can pick it up, and it's like in a dungeon where it doesn't matter. You get it a little bit earlier. You can get the Water Bell in the Waterfall instead of the Sea Shrine, so a little bit earlier. You can get the Wind Bell in Lefane instead of Mirage, which only affects Wind Geomancy. There's not very much. And then the Thunder Bell, we know there's basically no Thunder Geomancy. You can get in Mirage instead of Sky. But once you get the Thunder Bell, that's usually the last one, so then you can go get the best one. And the best one is pretty sweet. So, anyway, we'll probably get all that next episode. Alright, well, let's call it here. Blue's gonna get a little bit of money, get 1 spell, and I'll meet you guys over in Onrak for beating up the squid. Not really squid, but, you know. See you next time. Have a great day.